Hello everyone, my name is Manolis Sfinarolakis, the founder of Reality Crowd TV, and this is Jessica Sun, the CEO of Reality Crowd TV.
Hello.
And this is episode 19 of our Google Crowdfunding Hangouts. Tonight's guests are from Islandfunder.com, a crowdfunding platform specifically for the island of Hawaii and the state of Hawaii. And we're going to learn all about their platform and hear a lot about how they got started. But before we actually head into the main piece of this program, just a few housekeeping notes. We have an active Q&A, so if you have followed the circles of Reality Crowd TV, you will be able to ask a question at any point during the presentation. And of course, we will stop at the appropriate time to answer that question. Additionally, anyone who's interested in being on the show in the future, there is a link within our Google Hangout that if you fill out the contact form, you would be able to join our show in the future to tell about your crowdfunding campaign or potentially your interest in the crowdfunding industry. So now that we have the ground rules taken care of, let's introduce our guests. So we have Nicholas van Wiegandt and David Rippey. And Nicholas, can you please introduce yourself to the audience for us?
Hi guys, my name is Nick. Thank you very much for joining us today. Looking forward to going over some great crowdfunding tips and a lot of more fun info with you guys.
Excellent.
Aloha guys, I'm David. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, David. Sorry about that.
Aloha guys, I'm David. Me and Nick are co-founders of the Hawaii crowdfunding platform Islandfunder, and it's really exciting to see some movement here and look forward to answering some questions and teaching you more about our platform and what we're trying to do. So thanks for having us.
Thank you as well. We're very grateful that you guys would come on our show. We've been talking for a little while, and we love what you guys are doing with your platform. And I think a great way to start this hangout would probably be just to show the actual 1-minute promo you have on your website. So I'm going to quickly just share my screen so that the audience at large can see exactly what Islandfunder is all about. So let's just do that real quick. Go to islandfunder.com. And bada bing, bada boom, we have the video. Let's play it. Excellent, gentlemen. That video is amazing, and I love the piece that that states "Fund your lifestyle." I think that resonates with a lot of people. That's really great.
Thank you.
Excellent. So let's talk about your backgrounds. What got you guys started with crowdfunding, and maybe start from what your background is, perhaps any other businesses that you may have been involved in the past. And then what was kind of your genesis to actually start Islandfunder.com?
Definitely, yeah. I was a background in at school. I studied entrepreneurship. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I've always wanted to own my own business ever since I was a little kid. So, with that in mind, crowdfunding, since it came out, just in the past couple of years, it's always been a tool that I've been interested in using. And I've been thinking a lot about coming up with ideas on what I could do and how I could use crowdfunding to generate those funds and start, my first company. I ended up starting a business without crowdfunding and started a business website design, marketing, social media company, and that started doing really well. And what I realized is we were doing a lot of consulting with small businesses here locally in Hawaii. And they had these big dreams, these amazing ideas, great products that they wanted to take worldwide and sell online, but none of them had any capital to really be able to do that. And so I found myself struggling to work with these people because they had no startup money, but they did have these great products. So as we were looking into maybe consulting with them and getting them onto the crowdfunding platforms, we started realizing that the local community here in Hawaii was really far behind on crowdfunding. No one had a clue about what it was. And a lot of the small local businesses are local and they sell their products or service or their service base for tourists. So a lot of them didn't really have opportunities to go onto Kickstarter and crowdfund with Kickstarter because they're more service-based companies. So that's when we started to get this idea, well, what if we just started our own that was here for Hawaii, that was an open platform for any project statewide. So that's where I got started, and so we developed our first site. We got some we pre-launched with a few campaigns, and we're getting a ton of great feedback. We're still learning and teaching the locals how to use crowdfunding, but it's really been a great tool to help some small businesses get organized, get some funding they need to really get the ball rolling, and it also has helped us in return with our background in our other consulting companies. But the goal, the reason why we really wanted to do this is because we're local boys, we're from here, born and raised, and we want to see the economy be a little bit more self-sufficient and see some really cool projects here happen locally that we're seeing happen on the mainland, but just aren't really being able to get the buzz going around here. So that was kind of our motivation as far as starting the Islandfunder project.
Wonderful. And how did you two meet? How did you have you guys known each other for a while? Did you meet through university, or how did the two of you become co-founders?
Yeah, you want to answer this one?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So yeah, we met at a restaurant we were working at down in Waikiki, and I sensed from David, like, he was always an ideas guy, but and he would always come to me with these great ideas, and from there he really pitched one to me once, and then I was sold on it, and from there we just kept communication ties between each other, and then finally there was this moment where we just decided to go all in with each other, and so I helped him grow out his web design company by offering my services, which is like search engine optimization, as well as marketing, promotions, events. I come from a background of promotions and events and marketing from Nella Media Group, which is a local publishing company out of downtown. And they're just hitting their 5-year mark, so they're just over that final hump, and now they're really starting to accelerate there. And I took a lot of my skill sets from there and applied them to the web design agency. And then from there, as things kind of naturally progressed, David solved another problem with many of our clients not being able to afford our web services and our online development services. This Islandfunder came to be to solve that problem. So being able to fundraise as well as market for local businesses, and from there they could take the funds that they raise and recycle it back into their online development. And for me, Islandfunder just resonates with me very well because a lot of the old skill sets that I was using were just for like big parties, big surfer parties and big events like that. And now I'm getting to use these skills to move forward and help people really, how do you guys say it? Is it dream it, believe it, achieve it? I think that's how your slogan goes. So in that sense, being able to be a person of Hawaii and give back.
Very cool.
Really great. Yeah, that sounds really cool. So why don't we go into some of the features of your site? Is there anything specific on your site that you guys want to show everyone?
Yeah, definitely. So I think as far as features go on the site, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward crowdfunding site that has all the features that most of the crowdfunding sites do have, but it's more on the back end and the process of what we do and the services that we offer to the people who run campaigns with us. Now, anyone can donate and contribute to a campaign from anywhere, but we just kind of have it to where you have to be based in Hawaii to run a campaign, or if you're not based in Hawaii, your campaign has to be somewhat towards the Hawaiian culture that can maybe influence the culture or the state. Some of the great features that we have is we do the fixed and flexible funding options. We do also have a nonprofit option where we have a discount on all the fees to help nonprofits. One of the cool and unique features that we're actually just started offering is we have a way now where people can accept credit cards through their phones that go directly towards their campaign, and then they can also accept cash. And the cash is kind of a sketchy idea, but the idea and what we try to teach people is that, the bad thing is people might take cash and put it in their pocket and never put it towards their campaign, so they don't get any fees on it. But it's really important to fuel your campaign and show that you are generating contributions to get your percentage up higher. So we teach people that, if you're accepting cash, don't be scared to use that and put it back towards the campaign and allow that percentage to increase, because as the percentage increases, not only do your chances of reaching or going above and beyond your goal also increases. So, but we just had a lot of those questions come up here locally because everything in Hawaii is so different than the mainland. People are very face-to-face interactions, and we had some people that came across this problem where we were like, hey, we had all these family and friends that wanted to donate, but they just wanted to hand us cash, and so we created that feature that we can allow that now. And also, as well as having the credit cards on you, it makes it easy to just grab your friends and be like, hey, contribute to my campaign, and they're like, oh, how do I do it? Like, oh, no worries, I got it right here. And they can just pull it up on their phone and swipe their cards to get those contributions. Sorry, was that?
They can actually go on the app and say, oh, I gave cash, and then they give the person the cash.
So so how we've set it up as of right now is that they're able to accept the payments, and then they fill out basically a report that it goes to us. And the report comes to us, and then it gets input into the system, and then all of their donations and contributors go directly into the system. So our future goals are to have an app completely integrated. As of now, since we've just launched this new feature and we're just starting it with some new campaigners going to be launching their campaigns in the next couple weeks, we're kind of going through like a testing thing to see how it works, if people really use it, and then we, hopefully in the future do plan on having just an app that makes it a little bit simpler. But as of right now, it's we have the functionality to do it, but the app's just not quite finished yet.
Interesting. That is actually a very interesting concept, because I know a lot of bigger platforms, they don't like to see a large chunk of change coming from the project creators, because they feel that someone's trying to game the whole system, right? Because the goal is they want to raise 30% of your funding within the first week. And so if it's coming from one source and it's the project creator, they have an issue with that. But what you're saying is the culture in Hawaii is necessitating the fact that you have to accept cash payments simply because there's a distrust of online e-commerce, especially from friends and family who may not understand exactly what's going on in the crowdfunding industry. Is that generally why you implemented this?
Yeah, and it's because of that. It's because we do have an older kind of generation here, and people are really family orientated. So when we have campaigns that are launching, they usually have all their family is here. Their grandparents, their uncles, their aunties, everyone is in Hawaii. It's such a small place that they're not really computer literate. They don't understand, oh, I have to go online and do this kind of thing. So it's an easy way for them to just, hey, I just, get the cash from them, get their credit cards, do it for them. And that is a huge percentage of that 30% to get in the first week is a lot of the family, a lot of the local people who aren't so educated in this field. But we do allow it too that when someone makes a cash donation, the process is that they would write down their email, what they donated, and what they contributed to, and when we get that, it goes into the system as a donation from that person. So it doesn't just show like the campaign owner contributed this amount of money. It actually shows the people who donated, the cash amounts they donated, the credit card amounts, and everything like that. So, but it was definitely kind of a little bit of a problem solver that we're testing out still. We're going to see how it works, but I think it's the biggest problem with crowdfunding is, the biggest problem in getting that first 30%, which is mostly from, friends, family, and your little social network, is, you got to not be scared to ask, and you got to like shake people and like, hey, like donate, come to my site or come here and donate. And if you can simplify that process really easy and you're face to face with them and you're just like, hey, you should donate, instead of saying, no, yeah, when you go home, jump on your computer or pull up your phone right now. So yeah, what, you want to donate $10? You got $10 on you? Cool, I'll take it. And then you can just get them right there and sell them. That way they have no excuses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You basically, you basically can tell who your friends are if they're not willing to give you $10 at that point in time. But yeah, actually, Nick, I wanna ask you a question. What has been your favorite campaign to be on the Islandfunder site at the moment?
If you couldn't tell from the promo video, it would definitely be my best friend Kelly Manrique with his Papahuila skateboards. He's been doing that. There's a big swap meet over by the Aloha Stadium, and it's a few days a week. They have all the tents go up. It's like a big flea market, and he's been selling those skateboards out of there for a year and some change. And I always wanted to get involved with that project, but I didn't know how. And when we finally created Islandfunder, it was just a perfect opportunity. I've known the guy since we were 9 years old. We've been best friends, So like, it's really a fun way to grow up together and kind of mature into the whole business world. And I would have to say, yeah, that's my favorite, just because of how close I am with the project creator. And then on top of that, we both grew up skateboarding, so of course I'm going to want to ride the boards for him and give him all the feedback on the boards, and then also just promote the boards myself. I mean, I'm very passionate about that project. So when we did, he was partially funded, but what the real nugget of his campaign actually came from the marketing side, where he ended up having some really great ties with Japanese distribution company. So that's the beauty behind the marketing aspects of crowdfunding.
Absolutely, and so I mean, when you say the marketing and distribution, are you saying that as a result of his crowdfunding campaign, a distributor reached out to him, or did he have that in his pocket previously?
No, a distributor did reach out to him. We have a few contacts over in Japan, and they were able to get a little of the promotion there going on through his campaign, and just through the Coconut Wireless, it got there.
Wow. So okay. So I mean, that's beautiful. I mean, really, he was proving his concept and getting exposure for his skateboards, and he just happened to get a distributor who enjoyed the fact that he was doing it in an innovative manner. So I mean, that is the power of crowdfunding, essentially. That's cool.
He actually, and one other small note, his campaign also not only reached Japan but also reached Brazil, and we actually had an international backer from Brazil, which at the time we didn't. What was the issue there? Like
the shipping issue. We didn't know how we're going to ship to Brazil, because it was just such a random type of donation. But it was cool just to see that through some of the marketing strategies we had, that it was able to reach different parts of the world. And that's the great thing about crowdfunding, is you never really know exactly who is going to somehow come across your link or come across your campaign and contribute. And so now that this guy, his campaign was small, and it's still small, but making a sell in Brazil was totally random. But now that guy's going to be using his product skateboarding around Brazil with the skateboard, other people are asking him about it. Other people are already contacting, how do I get this board? How do I get this board? And so now they're going to be able to go back and to Papahuila and go to their website, go to the campaign, and be able to get one of them. But Hawaii's a great brand for things, so that's what's really cool about some of the local things here is, maybe you can find a skateboard, penny boards, all these other boards that are all very similar, but if you have a board that's from Hawaii and it's got a Hawaii logo on it, and it's from here, then it kind of adds a little bit of a value to it, a little bit of uniqueness of the island culture.
Yeah. specifically Japan really loves Hawaii, and that's probably that is one of the more valid reasons why Japan picked up on it. It was a Hawaii skateboard, and that's kind of leading into when we saw that avenue open up, we found it as an opportunity to begin designing Islandfunder and marketing Islandfunder towards the Japanese market there.
I would wager to say the question should be, who doesn't love Hawaii? So.
All right, so I guess I bring this to the next question. So do you have any advice for crowdfunders out there, maybe even those who are looking to use your platform, on how to do well on it, or just in crowdfunding in general?
Yeah, definitely. The advice that I like to give is what I think makes the biggest impact in any crowdfunding. And the statistics that we had got from last year were saying that you can raise 180% more funds were raised to campaigners who had a daily marketing plan. So it's really important to prepare for your campaign and not just think that if you put up a crowdfunding campaign that people are just going to find it and donate. You really have to prepare and have a strategy to generating traffic to your crowdfunding campaign. So having a daily marketing plan, having an email marketing schedule, Facebook, social media posting, reaching out to bloggers, reaching out to your local community, reaching out to your own social network. You need to plan it out weekly and be doing something every day. If you ever just sit back and let your campaign rest and just think that someone's going to just magically appear on it and contribute, you're not going to be successful with that type of strategy. And we've seen that already happen on our own site. And so now we're really implementing the daily marketing, and we've actually created a daily marketing plan kind of as an organized plan for people to kind of go through and get ideas of what they can do daily. But it also showed that email marketing was 50% of revenues were generated through campaigners through their email marketing strategies. So that's a really high percentage compared to other email marketing, but I think it's because when you're sending out emails to your social networks and the people that they see it's coming from you. They see that it's something personal, and you're really asking them to come and get involved with the project that you're working on. And it's a great tool for crowdfunding is your email marketing and your daily marketing plan. So definitely spend a lot of time preparing that.
That's excellent advice. And so give us an example of one of the days in the daily marketing plan. Like what does that daily marketing plan instruct people to do exactly?
So the daily marketing plan that we created is somewhat of a suggestion based, but we did it off of a lot of the statistics. So an example would be is we found that Nick spent a lot of time on this, found that the best day to launch a campaign is Sunday evening, and you launch it kind of like a soft launch with your family and friends. You talk to your local community, everyone that and you try to get them to go on there Sunday and contribute. And hopefully that evening you'll get a few donations, and then when Monday comes around is when you really start pushing out to the press and launching hard. And we really suggest doing email marketing on Monday, and to do your marketing later in the evening between 6 and 10 o'clock is actually when you get a lot of email opened. A lot of people are clicking through their emails at that time, and the statistics show that that's a really good time to send emails. If you send it early in the morning or throughout the day, people are busy, they're working, they might just skip through it. But later at night, later in the evening, when they're sitting down relaxing, it's easier for them to go through their emails and click through and check things out. So our marketing plan is, Mondays in the evening, you send out your emails about your launch, and then another example would be like, okay, so Tuesday we start with our social media, and you make a post on this topic, and you come up with, the topics that you want to talk about, obviously, before you launch. And so topic examples are, you can talk about one of your featured rewards, like, hey guys, like on your social media, and it's like, hey, this is one of our rewards, and you just go into a little detail about it. Other topics that are good to talk about are maybe not something that's completely about your campaign, but related to your campaign. So if there's a new statistic out about, some product that you're offering, share that link and talk about that link and share that news article or whatever it is, and then kind of have it linked back to your campaign as well. So having those are good examples of daily type of things that you can do to really generate some traffic, a buzz about what you're doing, and then as well as you really need to communicate with your backers, people who are contributing, people who are asking questions. You want to answer their questions. You want to reach out to them and keep the conversation going with them instead of them just donating and then waiting 30 days for your campaign to end or whatever it is. Have them donate and reach out to them, start talking to them, ask them to invite their friends to come and contribute. So those are just some of the ideas that we have that go throughout the daily marketing plan.
Absolutely, that's actually great information, and what we see as well is a lot of people who, and actually, I admire people who act, even if the action initially might be misguided. The fact that people are launching campaigns and taking the initiative, I actually 100% back people who act. But has there been a situation on your platform where someone maybe acted too quickly without planning, but then you help them out and you help them relaunch? Have you seen people who relaunched on your platform and then have been successful after the fact?
So we're kind of going through that right now with some companies. So we do have people who launch quickly, who put things up there. We guide them as much as we can, but obviously we can't force them to do anything. And when the campaigns really drop, and they don't do well, we try to communicate to them, hey, are you doing your daily marketing plan? Are you doing this? And since we're a smaller platform, we're able to regulate things so strictly that we do have the capability of saying, okay, hey, let's relaunch this. Let's stop the campaign for now. Let's relaunch it again when you're ready. We do have the ability to do that as long as, if you contribute to a campaign on Islandfunder, we're going to make sure that you get what you contributed to. There's never going to be any issues with that. So if someone started off slow, we had a couple contributions, we're going to fulfill those rewards, but we might shut down that campaign and help them get more prepared to relaunch it. Because if they launch a campaign and it goes on for 30, 40 days and ends up failing, they can't just relaunch it again, right after that and the same exact campaign. So we'll try to work with them, and definitely we have a little bit of an open platform to work with people to allow them to relaunch if we need to. So we are actually looking to work on that right now with the current campaign.
Excellent. And actually, let's talk about the future of crowdfunding. So everyone is starting to see that there's equity crowdfunding, debt crowdfunding that's eventually going to be finalized by the SEC. I mean, there is that level of crowdfunding at the highest levels of society, the accredited investors, and an accredited investor is an individual who makes $200,000 a year or is worth $1 million in net worth. Nick, does Islandfunder have any plans to go into the equity crowdfunding world, or are you guys going to continue on in the rewards-based crowdfunding?
I believe that we're still going to be focusing on the rewards-based crowdfunding. And the reason behind that would be that we have a major focus on the service aspects of rewards. Being a local niche here in Hawaii, one of the main problems with crowdfunding comes down to being able to ship your product, and that's always been an issue no matter what you're trying to do here in Hawaii. Shipping is just always very difficult, and so in combination with the culture of like the buy, grow, support local culture that we have here on Island, we find it that Islandfunder's real main niche is to engage the people of Hawaii with the local community initiatives that are going on. So being able to create more service-based rewards, so people can get involved in making Hawaii the place that we want to be able to call home.
And as far as the equity goes, it is in our minds. It is something that is possible for the future, and we've been thinking about it a lot and looking into it a lot and trying to decide if we did do that, how would it be? Would it be, because if we open it up to investment and we have investors from all over the world come and invest in local projects, that's great to gain that capital to start these businesses, but one of the big problems that we have here in Hawaii is that a lot of businesses are funded that way. So a lot of that capital is leaving the island, and we need to start generating, our goals are to really help build a little bit more of a sustainable economy here, so we don't have such strong reliances on other companies and other things coming from the mainland. So if we did do an equity type crowdfunding, it might be based around like the same ideas of Islandfunder and how you can create a campaign, but maybe it'd be based around the contributors have to be local residents, and only local residents can invest into particular projects. So it is something we're thinking about, but I think definitely, like Nick was saying, our main focus is on educating people about crowdfunding, getting them to be able to understand and how to run an effective crowdfunding campaign is our priority. Once the regulations, everything passes through and everything's open, we'll be hopefully one of the first people to jump on it if we decide to do so.
Absolutely, and we actually have our first question. Before that first question, actually, I would hope that your first equity crowdfunding campaign, if you do decide, would be crowdfunding an island. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be great.
Absolutely. But here's our good friend James Fierce, and he has a question. What is the advantage for the creator to choose equity funding versus reward funding?
Yeah.
Would you like to answer that, David or Nicholas?
Yeah, I'll answer that one, no problem. So equity crowdfunding is a new form of obtaining investment. And when you're equity funding your project, you're basically you're using crowdfunding as a platform to reach a huge demographic of people who are interested in investing, and they become investors in exchange for a percentage of your company. So if you use equity funding crowdfunding, you may raise the funds you need to start your business, but you're going to lose a percentage of your profits and your revenues towards those investors. Now, when you're doing crowdfunding based on rewards, you're raising funds without losing any percentage of your company. And it's kind of a form of taking pre-sales, I would say. It's like you have this business, this idea you want to start. You're generating all these sales by consumers, and you're marketing to consumers and reaching out to people who actually want to use your product and allowing them to get involved in your project. And in the end, you keep 100% of your company, and you just sold to a great number of new clients that could possibly be clients in the future, that could possibly be people who use your product and support your product. So it's a really good marketing strategy from beginning to end. The equity funding, the investors are usually investing in ideas that they think, maybe, yes, there are some who like the product that you're offering, but you probably have a lot of investors who have money that want to invest in ideas that show good returns. So you may not be generating a lot of people who are going to be using your product as much as you would be with crowdfunding. So kind of the after effects of non-equity crowdfunding goes into the marketing side, and so you have those benefits of keeping ownership, pre-selling your product, reaching out to people who are interested in that product with the rewards-based funding. I don't know, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you said it correctly. I mean, in my opinion, even with equity and debt crowdfunding coming into the picture, I think many startups that are consumer-centric brands will use the rewards-based crowdfunding to prove their concept, so that then they could take that to a venture capitalist, take it to an equity crowdfunding fundraising round, and show that they have consumer demand. And so, to me, everything is working in tandem to help startups and entrepreneurs and creative individuals really prove a concept, starting with the rewards-based model. And then as they build their company and as they build their systems, they will then be able to raise capital through more of the traditional established ways of raising money. And that's why it's so beautiful, because when a bank says no, when a venture capitalist says no, rewards-based crowdfunding says yes. And I feel like I just sounded like a commercial there, but it is what it is.
I mean, you can even start doing a rewards-based crowdfunding campaign first. And like Manolis said, if it's successful, then do equity after. And maybe you'll get more investors to actually make your product even bigger and hit a larger market.
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, if you have that as a tool, like, you know, say you did your reward-based crowdfunding first, you reached your goal, you reached out to a lot of people, you're able to do some sales. Well, now you're also able to get feedback on your product from those people who are using it, and then you take that product to an investor, because at that point now you have all of the research, you have the data, and you can get a much lower rate for the amount that you may need. So if you were to maybe equity crowdfund first, you might have to offer 20% of your company. But if you were to crowdfund with rewards first, use that, and then go to an investor, you might only need to give up 5%. And it's kind of like the show Shark Tank. You know, you go on the show and they're pitching an idea, and you go, oh, well, how many sales do you have? And as soon as they say none, then they start to freak out, right? So if you were to go to an investor and they go, oh, how many sales do you have? And you go, oh, well, I raised, $10,000, $20,000 in crowdfunding, and I've sold, 150 something units like that. That really wakes up investors and allows you to get more money at a lower rate.
Absolutely, and really the reason why you bring investors and venture capitalists in is just so that you can scale. You just have to prove to them that there's demand, and then you can scale. But let me go to a next question, Nick. In regards to what you see for the future of the industry, the future of the crowdfunding industry, what do you see happening in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see crowdfunding exploding? Just give us your thoughts on what your predictions are in the next 5 to 10 years for crowdfunding.
Wow, yeah, that's a pretty broad idea there. I think I'm an optimist. I'm definitely going to look at the glass half full. And there are some concerns with crowdfunding. One that I know of is the backer fatigue. With crowdfunding becoming more and more popular, more and more people are going to be reaching out and asking for people to donate. But with anything in life, things evolve, and as they grow, we become smarter in the ways that we do things. So I believe that as crowdfunding evolves and moves forward, so will the projects, and so will the rewards, and so will the services, and the experiences as well. So I see crowdfunding really having the potential to grow into something a lot larger, that, just like how you guys were noting, really creates a sense of independence. And I mean, it's an idealist type of vision, but at the same time, the tools are in place. So really, it's what we make of it.
Yeah, I just want to touch a little note on that. When I look at the future of crowdfunding, we see what's going on. It's actually becoming really competitive, and you have people, like you said, who are investing $5,000 into their crowdfunding campaigns, people who have got building these great teams, and that's what you need to do it right and to raise money right. But it is coming somewhat of a competitive market, and there's all these different platforms and all these different ways that you can do crowdfunding. But I really see it maybe kind of taking a turn to more niche crowdfunding platforms, like around particular areas of interest. So, there's all these new crowdfunding companies coming up all the time. We're obviously one of them. And our niche is Hawaii. Okay, we want to support Hawaii. So I think we might see a little bit more of those pop up here and there in the future, and maybe we have crowdfunding campaigns that are just for animal. Well, I'm sure they already have this, but like animal rights or a certain product or a certain sport. Just this sport type of crowdfunding. So, and I think that it's just going to people are going to get really creative with it and find ways to use unique platforms or niches to to build their following and to build those types of ideas. But yeah, it definitely is getting to be a little bit competitive nowadays with how effective it's been in the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's a really good point, David. I really like the idea of you speaking about how niche the crowdfunding platforms are getting today. And I think with Islandfunder and how we solidified the niche here, kind of a reason behind that when we first started developing was when we were looking into our web design clients and our online business development, one of the things that we do offer is the search engine optimization. And when we do optimize our clients and their online development, we optimize it locally because as we get, it's kind of like the best way I could describe it is it's like a fabric, right? And so as we have new technologies and new mediums, they start to get interwoven, and so it gets tighter and tighter. And so that's kind of the idea there with those niches, is that they're beginning to fuse together.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel as if that's the future as well. Ultimately, you know, the Kickstarters of the world, they are the dominant positions currently because they have the marketing budget to continually, you know, make them synonymous with crowdfunding, right? But ultimately, the niche platforms that understand the local region, the niche platforms that understand a certain industry and can provide ancillary services, similar to how you're focusing in on Hawaii and providing ancillary business consulting services, these type of unique value adds to a platform, in my opinion, will be the difference between those who survive and those who unfortunately don't. And it's because of the competitive and the creative and as you mentioned, as more come in, you have that interwovenness that makes things a little bit tighter and harder to squeeze a margin out. So you guys understand that, and you're differentiating yourself in the sense that you're more hands-on. You're looking to really consult them and really give them the knowledge that you learned through your own experiences so that they can have a higher level of success. And I think that's beautiful.
And also the crowdfunding market itself, like David mentioned, is really just going to evolve. So it's not always going to be what it is now. People have so many ideas that it's going to continue to build and get better and better and better. So what you might see today in like a year or two or three, it's just might be completely different in a better way, you know. So
definitely.
Absolutely, and I guess I know you don't want to give away your secret sauce, so to speak, but what are your future plans to continue to be competitive? What is your plan for Islandfunder? Where do you see your company in the near future, in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, definitely. So we have some big plans that revolve around the website and the way that we've set things up. Our goal is, you know, the biggest problem with crowdfunding is educating people how to do it correctly, because the people who really need crowdfunding, the ones who are going to benefit from it, and the people who are going to change our economy are the small businesses that have, you know, the products, the services that they're offering, and they're not marketing geniuses or crowdfunding experts. You know, they're experts in their area. So we have to come up with a platform that makes it extremely easy to understand and teach people how to run an effective crowdfunding campaign. And crowdfunding is pretty diverse and pretty complicated when you really break it down. If you want to do everything right from A to Z, it's a lot of work. And there's a lot of tools that you need to be able to do, you know, your social media, your email marketing, all these things. So as technology is getting easier to manage these type of things, you know, we have these great companies like MailChimp that's organizing your email marketing for you. You know, social media companies are managing your social media marketing. So these applications are all developing, and we're trying to make our site that will integrate these applications directly with your campaign as you're creating it, so that it's just a one-stop shop. It's really easy. You don't really have to be a marketing genius expert to launch a campaign, but you know, we're hoping to develop the site that it's going to connect those applications that we need to help you do it a lot better and easier. So I'm not going to go into, I mean, there's a few secrets that we have that we don't want to talk about what we're doing just yet, but it's definitely along the base of, you know, walking people through each step as they're going through it and simplifying it and providing more educational materials. And another one of the things that we're really interested in doing, and we're doing this right now, is getting the site translated in Japanese, and we're going to start marketing to the Japanese market to contribute to local businesses here, because we have, I believe it's 7 million Japanese tourists here a year, and they really love Hawaii. They love the culture here. And so we want to be able to reach that market, and we're having our site translated and developed for that, as well as creating new social media sites to be able to market to the Japanese community. So that's kind of what we have in store right now for our future.
Excellent. Yeah, you know, what we see in the industry too, similar to what you just said, is the education piece. That is 100% correct. And people actually have different ideas on how people will get educated. Is it a different kind of university that comes up? Is it consultants that do the educating? Or is it an ecosystem that needs to be created that connects entrepreneurs with funding platforms? And
Yeah.
you know, ultimately, I think that's the missing link, is that no one has a dominant position in the ecosystem, and it's so young that even in the consulting, in the funding portal, I mean, you have dominant positions in funding portals for rewards, but those are quickly being taken away as well with more and more platforms coming. And the fact that 7 out of 8 people, in an informal video poll, 7 out of 8 people actually do not know what crowdfunding is and have never even heard of Kickstarter. So the fact that the industry is so young, there's simply a lot of opportunity, but ultimately I think the ecosystems are going to be the ones to really educate people ahead of the funding. And they're going to teach them the entrepreneurship necessary to raise the funding, because the world needs to collaborate more. The world needs to release the elements that people need to learn for successful crowdfunding, and it needs to be released, because ultimately people are fed up with monopolies on information. So that's what I see that's happening, is crowdfunding is releasing the secrets of entrepreneurial success because it's the information age. So what do you think of that? Are you guys thinking of incorporating an ecosystem into your crowdfunding platform?
Yeah, I'd love to take that one. Coming from that promotional events, networking background, that's one of the ways that I saw Islandfunder's ability to grow here locally, is by tapping into the ecosystems, to those targeted audiences that really could utilize the power of crowdfunding. So we've made special partnerships and relationships with different networks, associations that could utilize our services, not only our platform, but then also the educational services that you were touching base on there. And from there, when we are able to create these relationships, we're able to grow those networks, because as they tap into crowdfunding and are able to grow their businesses, to grow their projects, their community initiatives, from there they're stronger and more powerful, and then from there they can be able to do more. And so some examples right now is at the cafe that we're in right now today. They have an amazing outreach with nonprofits. They love letting nonprofits use their venue for whatever reasons, mostly networking, but a lot of informational and also service engagements. And we're going to be touching base with the nonprofits here and being able to tap into that resource, into that pool, that ecosystem, and from there offer our services of, hey, this is what crowdfunding can do for your organization, and being able to give them the insights and the knowledge of how to go about this.
Wow, I like that. I mean, I think that's probably the wisest way to go, because you can tap into the market individual to individual, but if you go to organizations that have the ability to really share that with their membership and create these affinity partnerships and association partnerships, to me that is the most high impact targets that you can have for your own success with Islandfunder. So obviously you guys know exactly what you're doing here. I mean, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I've been really enjoying one of those projects that David and I wanted to get going a long time ago. Dealt a lot with advocacy for nonprofits, and that's why I really enjoy where I am today with my skill sets and growing Islandfunder, is that we're able to we have so many great avenues. You know, you got the artists and the musicians, you have the small businesses, which David's, you know, really knowledgeable in, and then also the nonprofits, which both of us have a really big heart for. And so that's kind of our vision there for sure.
Very cool. I like it. Jess, do you have any further questions?
No, I don't. Do you?
No, I don't have any further questions. But gentlemen, I'm going to give you both a chance to kind of give your last word, and the last word, give us the pitch as to why people in Hawaii and people who have an affinity toward Hawaii should use Islandfunder above any of the competition.
Yeah, great. You know, Islandfunder is, you know, we talked a lot about just being hands-on, helping people develop their campaigns, but what's really important is that we have this huge community here local that is about supporting, you know, the local community. We also have people all over the world who love Hawaii, want to come to Hawaii and be able to experience the culture here. So to preserve that culture, it's about that family, community involvement in everything that we do, and we need more of that to be sustainable. And when you run a crowdfunding campaign with Islandfunder, you know, here as a local, you're able to, we really focus on the local market marketing-wise as products and services, because it's really profitable to run crowdfunding where you're offering your services to someone who's obtainable to you. But it makes a relationship with everyone that you reach, and hopefully that relationship will be a lifelong, you know, client relationship with the community here. And Hawaii is one of those places where if there's a good, you know, a good company that provides a good product, they're diehard fans for that for life. And when you ever come to Hawaii to visit, which I'm hoping you guys will come soon, you'll notice these little companies here and there, little restaurants that have just been around for 30, 40 years and have a line out the door every day. And it's because, you know, the local community just loves them and will support them forever. So when you're doing crowdfunding with Islandfunder, we hope to develop that, hope to get you started in getting the community involvement behind your projects so that your business or your product idea will be a success in the long run. Other platforms are great, and we do encourage people, you know, start with Islandfunder, develop your community, learn crowdfunding, get good at it, and then, you know, maybe when you're ready to go to a worldwide platform, you can. But, you know, those platforms you're not developing, depending on most of the products and services that we have, you're not really developing strong community local ties. You're kind of reaching out and just getting sales around the world. It might just be a one-time sell or a one-time, you know, connection with those people. So that's really the importance and the beauty behind Islandfunder, is developing those relationships and building the foundation of your project or business or idea here locally. And that's really important for nonprofits too, because if you get, you know, the local community backing a nonprofit coming together, they're going to continually back and you know, get involved in what those nonprofits are doing here locally. And sometimes, you know, you are able to successfully raise money on other platforms for nonprofits, but you're just getting money, and, you know, maybe you're offering a small reward, and you don't have much of not as strong as a relationship as you would if you're able to meet with these people face to face and be able to make an impact in these contributors' actual communities. So that's the strength behind Islandfunder. That's what we hope to see it do, and that's our goal, is to build that.
Awesome. Very good, actually, and we do have a couple more questions before we sign off for the evening. So a gentleman, and hi David, thank you for watching. David Karam is with crowdfundplanning.com.
Awesome.
And
Cool.
David has a question. Have you worked on your inbound marketing locally?
Yes, definitely. So our inbound marketing locally, it's, you know, I do have a marketing company that I own, and so I am pretty much, you know, my background is obsessed with marketing and strategies and innovation. And what's hard to understand about Hawaii is that it's a very unique marketing structure here, and it's different from the whole world. And when you're doing marketing here locally, it's a lot of the statistics that you would use or marketing strategies that you would use on the mainland don't work as well here. So a lot of the marketing it's who do you know, face-to-face interactions, and it's shaking hands, going to these events, communicating people, throwing events. That's what really creates a buzz. And people here in Hawaii don't. They do use social media platforms, and we use all these platforms obviously to communicate. But when it comes to trusting someone and saying like, oh, should I contribute to this campaign? Should I get involved with them? They really are want to know the people. They want to know more. So our inbound marketing strategies do use all of the up-to-date social media marketing strategies, but we really, something that's unique is we do a lot of events. We show a lot of face time. We're involved with a lot of the nonprofit organizations here. We're involved with a lot of the music industry. We're going to all these music events where they're trying to, music and cultural events, and we're just showing a lot of face time, and we're, everyone kind of knows about us, and it's been a lot of buzz. We have a lot of media attention on us. The news is calling us. We've been on the radio stations, and so that marketing strategy and that local internal marketing strategy is what is helping us grow. So now when people here locally, when they go, hey, have you heard of crowdfunding? Hopefully we'll raise that number from, 8 out of 10 people know about it instead of the other way around. But we wanted to say, name 3 crowdfunding campaigns or, crowdfunding websites, and hopefully it'll be, I've heard of Kickstarter and Islandfunder. And that's what we're trying to generate here locally. And we actually have seen that a lot. A lot of times we meet people, and Islandfunder is the first kind of crowdfunding platform they've heard of, which is funny. But we are seeing that local spread of the identity of our business right now throughout the islands.
You know what? Maybe we should treat Kickstarter like Voldemort. We just shouldn't say their name anymore. I think because especially for you in a niche market like Hawaii, right? You just said it. Mainly these, like even in Connecticut, 7 out of 8 people did not know what crowdfunding was, and they never heard of Kickstarter. So in a sense, people are perpetuating the dominance of that platform by continually mentioning them. So you know what? I think I'm not going to mention them anymore.
Good.
Yeah, we got it. I'm going to mention Islandfunder from now on.
There we go.
Great, gentlemen. Well, thank you both for joining us. It's honestly been a pleasure. I could tell you guys are so passionate about what you do, and the fact that you're not just building a platform, but you're building a community. You're teaching people entrepreneurship. I think that's the way to go. That's the big play in this industry, is really teaching people how to be entrepreneurs. So again, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. Aloha. Check out Islandfunder. You guys might be able to find some cool things on there and contribute. We'll have them mailed out to you right away. And we also have a bunch of campaigns launching in the next week or 2, so that'll be exciting.
Awesome. So how do we do that? Are we doing it? Aloha?
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha.
There you go, Shaka.
There it is, Shakas.
Aloha. Got it. Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Well, until next time, dream it, believe it, achieve it.
All right.
Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Right.